السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم، أما بعد. فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعد الله الذين آمنوا منكم وعملوا الصالحات ليستخلفنهم في الأرض كما استخلف الذين من قبلهم وليمكنن لهم دينهم الذي ارتضى به لهم وليبدلنهم من بعد خوفهم أمنا يعبدونني لا يشركون بي شيئا ومن كفر بعد ذلك فأولئك هم الفاسقون. أما بعد. Brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, in tonight's lecture or youth halaqah, we will talk about something that all of us may need to really consider the harm of, because it is not only affecting us, the way we live and the way we do things, but it is also affecting our lives and the lives of our youth especially. And that is the worldwide internet. You know, obviously, when I say to you that, for example, we need to minimize our time on social media, right away you're going to be, or the youth will probably saying, are you insane? Are you backwards? Some of you may be thinking or saying to me that, how can you even be thinking like that when it has become a part of our life today? And many of you probably will argue and bring up the excuse that it's part of my financial status, my economical status. I need to be constantly in touch with people for my business to prosper, etc. And others may, not have the excuse, and they may be even considering to minimize or even quit social media altogether. But sometimes because they see everybody else is doing it, what's the harm? What's the harm? And so today, before you tune out, youth, please don't go away. And please listen me out before you run away and say, oh, our imams and our leaders are telling us to not use social media or to minimize it, minimize the use of technology, etc. Well, I hope you'll hear me out and at least consider, because what I'm about to tell you has or may play a huge impact in your life. And it's something really worth considering, because those who have done so, and studies have shown this, and what I'm about to tell you is not really from my own self, but this is after a lot of listening to different experts, economists, and doctors who are telling us that social media is causing a lot of different types of harm to people. And I think many of those things you will agree with me that we need to consider them, and not only consider them, but we need to stop doing them because they are causing physical harm to us, they are causing mental and psychological harm to us, and they are causing spiritual harm to us, which to me is probably one of the most important altogether. And so for this, I recited a verse to you in Surah An-Nur. And this is pertinent to us as believers and the situation we're seeing right now, and the different types of fitnas and the different types of tests and trials that we are going through at the moment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He reminds us in Surah An-Nur, Allah has promised those of you who believe and do good deeds that He will certainly make them His vicegerents in the land. What does that mean? He will make them their Khalifa. And a Khalifa is the one who will carry out the duties and the rights that should be given to people on this earth. You and me, therefore, have a great responsibility. And then he says, so if we have the criteria of Iman and the criteria of good deeds, Amal Salihah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make them, such people who do that, the vicegerents on this earth. He will give them the best in this life and the best in the next life. Such people will certainly establish for them, as the verse continues to say, that, if you don't believe that Allah will make us khalifas, what about the people before us? Those who did righteous deeds, who had faith and had did righteous deeds, He made them the khalifa as well. كما استخلف الذين من قبلهم وَلِيُمَكِّنَنَّهُمْ دِينَهُمْ, and He will establish for them their religion in the earth. And one of the very important things that we have right now, the most valuable thing, the most valuable asset in the entire world is the faith. Because if a person leaves this world without faith, they're worthless in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you and me have that faith. And what are we doing with it? Well, that's what I would like to talk about. Because especially in this time where all the rulers of the world, even the very country we're living in, they're having a difficult time with racism. They're having a difficult time with all of these problems that are destroying their economy. And what is the solution? The Iman and Amal Salihah, the Deen of Al-Islam that Allah has given us, is the solution to all of those problems. But the problem is us, that we are in the way, and not only in the way, we are becoming obstacles in the way of people becoming and understanding our Deen of Al-Islam, because we ourselves are not practicing it. We ourselves are not carrying on this message the way we should be, like the prophets did. And so this is something that all of us need to do in order to become the khulafa on this in this earth. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala therefore will make us establish this deen. And I don't think we've done a very good job in that. We may be able to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but in order for us to correct our society around us at large and to rid them from all of these types of racisms and these chauvinist people and these feudalistic understandings that these people have, to rid them from all of these diseases, one must have faith. Without faith, they will never be able to understand and really come together in unison and as a community. They will not. And so the verse, it continues and said, and certainly we give them peace. وَلِيُبَدِّلَنَّهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ خَوْفِهِمْ أَمْنًا. Wouldn't you like to have peace right now? Oh, that word is such a beautiful word, is it not? Peace, peace and tranquility. However, we look to our neighbors, we look down the street, we look to another community, here and there, all of these various communities, and what do we see? Do we see peace? Are you able to talk to your neighbors, interact with your neighbors, and especially those who are our Afro American brothers, our Black community? Do you interact with them? What is your attitude towards these people? Many of us have this racist mentality inside of us that for some reason we think, especially when, for example, if you are walking on this side of the street and there's uh, some Afro American people standing there, some youth standing there, what happens? You cross the road to go to the other side. How many of us do that? Okay, maybe you are thinking, well, they're going to do something to me. But this is the mentality we have developed. This is the our faith as believers must take us to these people, to talk to them, to invite them, to bring them to the faith. Because many of them are unfortunately facing racism all the time. And this is how everybody is treating them, like criminals. And there's so much injustice that's going on. And the system, this entire system has been created upon racism. And if you look in all of the aspects from the family life to the neighborhood, right, to schooling, through jobs, through college and university and careers, and through every phase of their life, unfortunately, the Black community, the Afro American community, they are facing so many levels and levels and levels of racism, like we talked about last week. So I'm not going to go there again. But you and me need to study this, and we need to be uh, very, very understanding of why there's so much frustration among our Afro American brothers in our Black communities. And it's a very, very sad situation. And a lot of times, and this is why I wanted to talk about the topic of the internet today and social media, because this has become kind of a way for us to see what's going on, and we think we're gaining awareness of the situation. We're seeing the rioting going on, protests going on, we're listening to different types of discussions about racism and this and that, and maybe you're even contributing, you're talking back and forth with your friends and this and that. What's that going to do? How much is that going to help what just happened to George Floyd? Could anybody help him? Did even, you know, the social media bring it to us? And you're going to say, you're talking bad about social media, but that's the very thing that exposed this racism. That's nonsense. This has been happening, and this is just because that this was caught on video by this person. You know how many other videos and how many other people have suffered in history like this? Do you think this is just giving credit to the social media for this type of thing? La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Where is our mind? So don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying all of the things are bad of technology. I'm not saying that. And there are good uses for it. But the harm that has come to us are very, very dangerous and very, very great compared to the benefit. And actually, what I'm about to tell you, maybe you will even consider quitting it altogether because the harm is so much that it's devastated and torn apart many, many families. Yes, families. And it's sad because our Muslim families in our own communities have just destroyed their own family system. Wives and husbands are, you know, not looking at each other and not talking to each other and even get divorced because of social media. Sons and daughters are not taking consultation from their fathers and their mothers because they think they're backwards. They think and they can get all the answers on their social media because on the social media it's a place for them to escape and to get a lot of likes and a lot of thumbs up. Oh, this person got so many thumbs up, he must be successful, right? Wrong. uh, this is what you have to understand. All of this is a great, great deception. Not only that, and inshallah what we're going to talk about, you will understand the deception of social media. Maybe Allah give you tawfiq, maybe you will at least after this talk minimize your use of the social media. Or if not, the best thing to do is to actually take, they call it a dopamine fast. You start fasting at least. Take yourself away from this social media because the dopamine inside of us, yeah, that's really destroying us altogether. It's so addictive that you are not able to even work, not able to be even doing your schoolwork. You're typing on your computer, I'm doing my homework, and mom is calling you, and you're doing your home. You're supposed to be eating. You don't eat, but then you're doing your homework, and in between you get this text or you get this email, and then you start going off from that, and now you're spending so much time. Mom asks you again, did you do your homework? Oh, I'm still doing it. That was an hour ago. You should be done by now. Oh, you make up some excuse. You were texting all that time, social media, right? And even for people at work, what work are you getting done? What focus and attention are you really giving to your work? Because in between an email comes, in between this texting comes, in between all of this and that, you have to catch up on the latest. This is destroying our lives. And not only destroying it, it's taking away our attention and our focus on things that we should be doing. A lot of us say you're a backward person. How can you even be saying that? We're not living in a time of camels and horses and riding on donkeys or something like that. This is a time of cars, right? This is a time of technology. We should be benefiting from all of this, isn't it? We should be, but minimizing it. And even to the point that I think all of us really, we need to take ourselves away from this. Yes, social media detox is very, very much needed. Brother Shoaib, Jazakallah khairan for that comment. So much, so much. Because, subhanAllah, when you look at the people's excuses, they'll say these types of things, but really, if you look at this excuse that they have actually, like I just said, maybe we are living in the time of of camels and stuff. We're not driving camels and riding horses and things like that anymore. We're driving cars. So they have this type of mentality, is saying that social media is a need. No, it's not. I'm sorry to say that. What you have thought as a need is not a need at all. And listen to me well. It's a form of entertainment. It's a form of pleasure. That's what it is. Whether you like it or not, this is what it is. You're going to say, oh, we can get news and we can get awareness and we can do this and we can do that. That's why we're in this situation. Not one of us could help that man. Not one of us. Because we're too busy on our phones. We're too busy doing this and that. And we're next. If you don't like what I'm saying, we're next. Because we're too busy. And so this type of this thing, we have made it a need, a necessity. And it's not a necessity. It's not a necessity at all. There are many forms of entertainment that we used to be doing a long time ago, before even all of this came. It's called going outside and getting some exercise. That's a form of entertainment and recreation. It's called spending time with the family. That's a form of recreation. That's what we need to do. But we're not doing it enough. But we're sitting hours and hours and hours. For what? Wasting time, gossiping, this and that, getting likes, thumbs up, and whoopee doo. What have you achieved from that? Zero. And you think you're trying to satisfy yourself by getting all of those likes. How many people, on this, in this social media world, are really happy? They'll present themselves and they will look like they are living the life and sharing their ideas with you. So much so now you can't even think anymore for yourself. You can't even think for yourself anymore. You have to always have these, and this is the problem. People, there's a lot of people who say this, and this is the second reason why people have an excuse to go on social media. It's part of my job, man. I have to do it. And I have to, get word out and this and that. You know, to some extent, I understand that. But economists and professionals and experts tell us that if you really want to be successful in your business, if you really want to understand and prosper and become successful economically, financially, then you must present a service or a product that is, number one, genuine and rare, and number two, that is something of value to people. Not copying somebody else, like that's all we do nowadays. We just copy something from somebody else, and that replica is never like the genuine. And it doesn't have the worth, because the mehna, the effort that's gone behind that value and behind that service, we don't have it anymore. And so this is a nonsense, that you have to have social media in order to be successful in business. To some extent, I may be understanding that, okay, there's certain aspects, and very, very few people may be successful in doing that. But most of us, that's not the reason why we actually use social media. And then, you have the other people who say, you know, maybe you're right. Maybe I need to spend less time on social media. Maybe I need this detox. Maybe I need to do this dopamine fasting, right? Because you're addicted. You're addicted to the internet. And what's the internet, by the way? We go into the internet for pleasure. Some use it for work, but a lot of us, we use it for pleasure. And listen to my words. If you really want to learn something properly, if you really want to achieve a skill, and you want nur and barakah in that skill, then you have to go out and work for it. You cannot attain, especially this knowledge of deen, especially a spiritual and and uh, mental need that we have for attaining peace and tranquility. It will not come from this social media. Actually, we're harming ourselves. And so when we say that maybe you're right, but what the harm? What's the harm in going on social media once in a while? What's the harm? What's the harm? Okay, so the physical harms. How many of your daughters and sons stay up at night? Be honest to yourself. Can you control them? They're up at night, lock their doors, and they're texting back and forth. They're going, they're talking to people left and right, this and that. Who? And then when it's time for Fajr, beta, come on, get up, son. Everybody's sleeping. What type of deen is this? What type of life are we living? Subhanallah. So physically, first of all, many of our children are just becoming addicted to this social media. And if it was something that, mashallah, we could be getting the haqq from, the nur from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All their faces, this is nur. You know what they're getting? This is the nur they're getting. Can you see the nur on the face? Yeah, it's the blue light that's coming from this iPhone. That's what they have. I remember a long time ago, someone, and this comes from, again, social media. They send the father is talking to his son, and the father's reading his newspaper, and the son, he has a Quran here, and the father says, "Mashallah, mashallah, look at your face. It's beautiful. It's radiant with light." And then he puts his hand on the Quran. He had his phone on the Quran. He's looking at something. Astaghfirullah. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. You understand what I'm talking about. How much control do you have of yourself and your children? You have become addicted, your children have become addicted to this nonsense. And that's it, straightforward nonsense. We are wasting so much of our lives going by, and there's no good to it. And so physical damage definitely is being done. And just like a drug, just like a person is intoxicated, has a habit of smoking, right? And has to have more, have to have more, have to have more. Likewise on this, it's an addiction. As dopamine has made you become so addicted that you cannot even get away from it. And now, physically, you're not fit anymore. And mentally speaking, okay, just like I just said, how many of us really are doing our work properly? For those who are, computer savvy, this and that, we're constantly being bombarded by social media. Constantly. Oh, WhatsApp, and then Facebook, and then Twitter, And then Instagram, oh my goodness, all of this stuff. And we're worried about the likes and we're worried about the thumbs up and this and that. You were concentrating on your work. Something came along from social media. Now you go and try to start answering that. 10 minutes go by, 20 minutes go by. You even forgot what you're doing because there's no more focus anymore because of this type of these this social media has made us so busy. It's destroying our lives. So what's the harm? There's great physical harm, and our minds cannot have too much information. They're overloaded with information. It's coming out of our ears and it's oozing out, and we're still putting more and more and more into our brains. Our brains can't take it anymore. We're becoming mentally and psychologically ill. This is what's happening. How many people do you know have committed suicide because of social media? Because they're trying to be like those perfect people that picture themselves and that our daughters and sons want to be like. This foolishness, this virtual world that they're living in. Yeah. Listen, in order for us to solve problems, and listen to me well, we're not going to solve problems through social media. You're not going to. Social media cannot replace the fabric, the social fabric of our community. It cannot. Social media is just a huge, huge savanna, a huge, the internet world is just this huge plain, a huge field that we're just walking into. And you know what? There's no hierarchy, there's no rules, no regulations. Do whatever you want. It's a very dangerous place. And do you know what? There's a lot of pockets and a lot of holes and empty space out there that you're getting caught in. And you fall down into it and you become prey. And you know what? There's a lot of these companies out there who are making this, feeding you shiny treats in social media. And you know why they're feeding you these shiny treats? So they can collect your personal data. Now they're collecting all of that. Collecting it all. And they know everything about you. Who you hang around with, who you are like, who you want to be like. It's called analytics. You remember that? Oh, yeah. And so then what do? Take all of your information and they sell it to other people. All your personal information. It's all gone now. All your personal information. How do you like that? You've just been sold. So this is social media, my brothers and sisters in Islam. And so we just talked a little bit about these things. And what I'm saying over here, all of this that I'm saying, I'm not saying any of this from myself. This is well-studied fact. You can go and you can see the harms of social media, what they have done. But if you just put all that aside, what I really care about right now is you and me and our community and Laurel community. Because our community is suffering. We're suffering from racism. We're suffering from social media problems, and a lot of times we are burying the problems and pushing them away and not doing anything about it. Stop. It has to stop, and enough is enough. We need to come together as a community, and we need to solve these problems by, first of all, acknowledging and understanding that this racism is a real problem. This systemic racism that we're facing is a huge problem. And the way, perhaps, even the Afro American community right now who are listening to us, and the Black communities that are listening to us, a lot of times I don't even think they want our help. They want to help themselves out of this situation. But they've been put into such a huge problem. And then us on top of that, well, some of us, I'm not saying all of us, many of us, we're not helping the situation at all. So we have to acknowledge that there's a huge problem here. And we have to join hands with our brothers and sisters. We have to, help them in this crisis right now. But it's not gonna be an easy fix. Like, just, what do? We have a couple of programs. We call some ulama who are Afro-American, or some khatibs that are Afro-American. We have them give khutbas, and we'll feel satisfied for, oh, we've done a lot. Hundreds of years of racism, you're going to finish it off with a few khutbas. That's a good solution. What is the problem with us? We have to have representatives of these people with us, to work with us continuously, who are included in our boards, who are included in our society, or the fabric of our society. They're with us. And they're constantly helping us, and we are helping them to fix our problems. How many of us have gone to the city masajid? We have our own masjid. We're sitting down in our nice masajid. Meanwhile, our brothers and our sisters in the city masajid, they have hardly anything. We have time to change our carpets. Their ceilings are falling down. Their walls are caving in, and we're worried about our carpets. We can't even fundraise for them. We can't even, give our monies and allocate some time and resources to this society. What is our duty as Muslims? The Prophet ﷺ would never abandon his brother. This zulm that is happening to them, we have to help them. We have to be there, and we have to constantly be there to pull them out of this huge hole that they're in. And so how are we going to do that? We get too much carried away, and we say, oh, how are we going to fix this huge, massive problem? Number one, localize it. You don't have to start far away. Localize it. Your Muslim neighbor or your Black neighbor, go to him and talk to him. That's all you got to do. No, I'm not going to do that. What are you going to do then? How many of you have gone to talk to your Muslim neighbors, or your Black neighbors, or your Afro-American neighbors? Forget if they're Muslim or not. How many have you gone? How many have done something good for them? How many of you have talked to them and, are actually, asking them, what can I do for you to help you out? These are real questions that will make and break us as a people. And if we don't do that, this problem will never be solved. And this is a time right now when all the governments, all the states have failed. They have failed, people. They've failed. This is the time for us to stand up. and show the adl of Islam. This is the time for us to stand up, to guide these people to light. They're in darkness. Who's going to bring them out of that darkness? You knew everything. You didn't do anything to take them out of that darkness that they're in. Why? Well, Allah knows why. Allah knows why. So, brothers and sisters in Islam, I will suffice on that. I wanted to talk actually a lot about a couple of hadith. Maybe I'll just finish with that. What time is it? It's almost 10 o'clock. And I know a lot of you probably have to go to work or inshallah get some rest. I will finish with a hadith by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Badiru bil a'mali sab'an." So, do good deeds and make sure you haste towards them before 7 things happen. Are you waiting for هل تنتظرون إلا فقرا منسيا? Are you waiting for poverty to overtake you that will make you unmindful? Or غنى مطغيا, or to get so wealthy that it'll make you rebellious and it'll make you and put you in a rebellious attitude and a corrupt attitude. وَمَرَضًا مُفْسِدًا, and he said that, are you waiting for a sickness to disable you? أَوْ haraman مُفَنِّدًا, or are you waiting for senility to take you over and to make you mentally unstable? أَوْ مَوْتًا مُجْهِزًا, are you waiting for sudden death? أَوِ الدَّجَّالِ فَشَرُّ غَائِبٍ يُنْتَظَرُ, are you waiting for Dajjal, who is the worst person to be expecting to wait for, the worst absent person? أَوِ السَّاعَةِ فَالسَّاعَةُ أَدْهَى وَأَمَرُّ, or are you waiting for the day of judgment to come, which is the most grievous and bitter day? Is that what you're waiting for? Meaning that there is a time right now that there are so many fitnas that we are facing. This COVID-19, this was a fitna. And some of us, we are still in this fitna. And then, as the Prophet ﷺ said, "Badiru bil amali fitanan ka qit'il layl al-mudlim," that they come so fast, it's like the darkness of the night. Right now, as Maghrib came, it was a little bit dark. Right now, it's more dark. The next part is more darker. So these fitnas are going to come, and they're going to come right after the other consecutively, and they're going to make things darker and darker and darker. And you know how bad it's going to become? So we had the COVID-19, then we had, these types of protesting that's taking, the murder of George Floyd, etc. And then another thing is going to happen, and another thing is going to. These things are just, one's not finished yet, and another fitna comes. And if you don't know what to do at the time of fitna, well, that's what fitna is. Fitna is that. Fitna is when you don't know right from wrong. Oh, it's too dark. I can't see anymore. Where do I step? Is that stick on the ground a snake, or is it a stick? See? So it's dangerous. And some of us don't know what to do. يُصْبِحُ الرَّجُلُ مُؤْمِنًا, a man will be a believer in the morning. وَيُمْسِي كَافِرًا, in the evening he'll sell his faith. Becomes a kafir, non-believer. وَيُمْسِي مُؤْمِنًا, in the evening, right now, we're in the evening, we're believers. In the morning, وَيُصْبِحُ كَافِرًا, we become non-believers. يَبِيعُ دِينَهُ بِعَرَضٍ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا, they will sell their deen, they will sell their faith for a paltry price of this dunya. That's what we're doing. And this is why we are facing the many problems we are seeing today. Brothers and sisters in Islam, I beseech you, I ask you as your Muslim brother in Islam, that it's time for you to consider to give up some of the things that we have been doing, especially wasting so much time in our life on social media in things that we know are wrong, but we are doing them. It's time for us to come back and be a community again. Come back, serve your community. Come back and live in unison and unity with your Afro American brothers. Come back and help them, support one another. Be brothers, have in one fraternity and one faith. Just like Sayyidina Bilal radiyallahu ta'ala an became the muazzin of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's masjid. You and me were not better than that. Sayyidina Bilal, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Uritul Jannah, I saw in paradise, khashkhashatan alayhi. Oh Bilal, how is it I heard your footsteps in front of me? Oh Bilal, in Jannah. He was a man of color, do you know that? He was darker than you and me, do you know that? Who? Sayyidina Bilal radiallahu. This is what he had. Iman. He was higher than you and me. He was so high that even the Prophet sallallahu in front of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yes, that's what we have to get rid of. If you don't talk to that person because he is a man of color or a woman of color, you have a problem. Get rid of it. This racism has destroyed us. Bilal radiallahu anhu, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, oh Bilal, how did you attain this? What deeds did you do to be in front of me in Jannah? That I hear your footsteps in Jannah. Oh Bilal. And he said, Ya Rasulullah, إذا أحدثت تودعت وإذا توضأت أصلي ركعتين. أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام, أو كما قال Bilal. He said, O Prophet of Allah, when I lose my wudu, I come in a state of not having wudu anymore, right? Then I make wudu and I stay clean the entire day. I stay clean the entire day. And then after that, I offer 2 rak'ats for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us all to the right path. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rid us from pride and arrogance that is inside of us. Yes, we do have pride and arrogance. If we are still, thinking about going to our neighbors and still, in this muzabzab state, I don't know, I can't do that. How am I supposed to? If you're still in that state, there's something wrong. This should not be a lecture. We should not have to be told about to do these things. But unfortunately, our state has become so bad, we have to talk about these issues. May Allah guide us. Wallahi, may Allah guide us. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Ya Allah, give us tawfiq to come back to Islam, to strengthen our iman, to strengthen our ihsan. Ya Allah, give us tawfiq to be one ummah. Ya Allah, give us tawfiq to be good people, to have good character, and to never have any type of prejudice and racism or feudalism or nepotism inside of us. Ya Allah, rid us from all these types of arrogance and takabbur, Ya Allah, and make us humble servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alladina idha yamshuna ala al-ardi hauna, that when we walk on this earth, we walk as humble and very good people on this earth, that an impact will come on this earth. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.